You know, obviously in college, guys start to learn it. They start to know it's coming. So I had to learn different ways to hit it. But yeah, Pioneer, when Tanner would come to camp, Pioneer was they'd run through teams and they just cradle everybody. But like I said, they can't take anybody down. And you know, my cousin went to Pioneer. He goes to Penn State now. He still can't take anybody down. But he was a part of the Buffalo win when Nolf got hurt. He filled in for Jason Nolf, and he was part of the Buffalo win. And I think they recorded the most pins and the most points or whatever in that win. And he cradled a guy, and they did the behind the dirt on him. And I texted him, "What the heck? Yeah, they act like you never hit a cradle before." And he's kind of like, "Well, to be fair, I haven't hit one for a while, wrestling out there and the type of guys that he wrestles." And so, but yeah, it's something that we were known for at Hotchkiss. When my dad took over Hotchkiss High School, and then Andy took over at Pioneer, and they hit it all the time. And I think when you defend it so much that people in the area started hitting it up and down kind of the western slope there, valley. And I mean, we hosted a Pee Wee tournament this year, and Pee Wee kids are hitting cradles like crazy. And so, I mean, I don't know that I have any tricks of the trade that people haven't seen. You know, the biggest thing when I'm riding and when I'm looking to cradle is I'm wanting to be up here high. Okay, I'm gonna have a hard time cradling from back here. I want to be up high, and I want to be where all of his weight's in his hands, because I don't want his hands to be able to come out of the mat. And when I look back at probably most of my, the years that I hit him in college and in high school, it probably came from transition wrestling. Now, I didn't know really what I was doing. I hadn't had to put a name to it yet, but it was all off of transitional wrestling. So one big way that when I was in college, I started learning, we had a kid, he was same age as me, and he took fourth in the country one year, and he never scored a takedown. And he was just a tilting machine. And so he started working with me on some tilts. And so really, like Royce Urig, Donald was talking to our kids club, the kid in our kids club who hits it, I started hitting it the same way. So I would hit my tilt right to here, and sometimes I would get it, sometimes I wouldn't, sometimes I'd pull, and he'd belly down, but it was all to get my crossface. It was all so that he would post that arm. As I got to be a better tilter, I'd let him in a belly out, and there's my arm. There's my crossface cradle, and I'm coming across, not very nicely. If I break his nose or whatever, it happens. I'm just looking to turn his face and make him look at it. Now, where I'm looking to lock is I'm looking to be right above his elbow. I don't want to be down on his wrist because he's going to bend it. I don't want to be too high because he's strong with his shoulder where I can't get it. But if I go right above his elbow, I can pull it across his face and pin his shoulder. Okay, so I go to my tilt here, get my point, he bellies up, and right away I'm looking to crossface. Now as Donald turns here, I'm going to post my hand behind his knee. I'm going to step up. I'm going to, if I have to, I'll bend him up here and then take him down, nose to the knee. Okay, the key here is I'm always locking on my own wrist. I don't like to let go and lock my hands like I would on a single or a high crotch. I'm locking on my own wrist. Okay, that way when I roll through, I love to suicide. Probably 90% of mine I suicided. A lot of people say don't do it, but I'm locked on my own wrist. I've got this arm trapped here. As I step up, grabbing my own wrist, obviously in this position, I'm going to jump over and drive hip to hip. Okay, as I get here, I'm going bottom knee in the side. As he's kicking his leg, I'm catching him here, I'm catching him inside thigh. And what I like to do to finish is I'm going to extend my arms. So by extending, I close the gap there. And what happens a lot of times is his head will slip out, he'll fight off. But as soon as his head slipped out, you get the pin. It tightens it up a lot as you extend those arms. Okay, a lot of people like to squeeze it in here, and it's not as tight. Come in here, get my points. He bellies out. come here. If he goes hip down, he knows I'm going to cradle him. I'll run my corkscrew. Come over to this. As we go back over, he's not going to let that happen again. He brings that knee back up. I lock on my wrist, hip to hip, and I'll take him over. Systematic offense, single, take him down. He starts building the base. I'm coming up. All the weight's in his hand there. So as he builds up from me taking him down, I take him down. He's down on his belly, coming up. All the weight's in his hands. Again, I'm reaching across. I'm high. I'm going to jump over and post on my own head. And then I'm going to crowd him towards his head and lock up my hands. I've got to jump, though, to the far side and post to lock up my hands. Okay, if I'm over here and trying to lock up, I'm not going to be able to. I've got to jump all the way to the far side and post on my head so that I can lock up. And once I lock up, I still have a hold of this. This is my lifeline. And I'm going to suicide through. Taking him through, bottom knee in the side, catching, and extending. And then here's what happens a lot too. I extend, he busts out, he goes to his belly, come back up, cross face him again, and go again, you know, just looking to move from one to the next. You know, I mean, I'll pin a guy in a corkscrew. I'm not above that by any means. If he's going to roll over for me there, but he's going to fight, can't get it. You know, he bellies down, turns that hip, and he makes it really easy for me to lock up my cradle. Come back to the other side and cradle. And everything, you know, I'm really trying to pull his bicep across his throat here as much as I can. So I'm here and pulling that tight and then getting that across. And that's what I'm basically hanging on that. I'm hanging on that arm as I jump over and pull it tight.